Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I have been asked to make something for Sherls Crafts and her steampunk that she is putting on, her steampunk in pastels and purples, and I'm actually going to be working in the purples. And I've known Sherls for gosh, 5 or 6 years now. She actually used to be an admin in my Facebook group, and I just love her to death. She is a sweetheart, and she makes the best digitals. I am May 29th, Burnished Bronze Brilliance. So we're going to figure out what that means together. But it's, if you want, she does have this on the Facebook group where you can see who's doing what on what day. I'm actually twice. I'm today and June 3rd for lace, levers, and shades. Now, if you don't know what a lever shade is, that's a parasol. I had to ask. And then she's got this cool little guide about steampunk and setting the era and the fashion and commonality and stuff. So, I mean, this is very helpful, and thank you, Sherls, very much for doing this. This is amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay, so I'm very honored to be asked to be here. Again, my name is Cheryl, and I have a Facebook group called Junkers Craft Co-op. Let's see. I'm also on a design team for Trace of Sparkle. And, yeah, I've done some other guest design stuff, so. Well, but that's here nor there. We're here to craft. So, I am going to make a floating pocket. I went ahead and printed out all the ephemera pages. There's quite a few. I mean, this kit is huge. Huge, I tell you. It is huge. So, just real quickly, just kind of show you some of the stuff that she has. She has strips of paper. She's got some gorgeous little industrial type little, little tags. Can't think of my words. Doesn't that always happen on a video? You can't ever think of what you want. She's got some cool gears with pictures in them. She's got plain tabs that you can decorate up and do what you want or leave them the way they are. I mean, she has thought of everything. Even library cards, library pockets, small little things. Look at the whole page of tickets. Just amazing. More little kind of bits and pieces you can use. Tags. More bits and pieces. Pockets already done for you. You just have to cut them out. This is a coin envelope, and it's got some cool stuff with it. Again, another envelope and postage stamp style of there. We've got what you can make journaling tags or anything out of here. I mean, she's amazing. And then, whoops, we're slipping back over this way. Go that way. Then we've got some cool bigger, bookmarks or tags or whatever. More pockets. This girl just kills me. I love her. We've got postcards and tickets and envelopes and more small ephemera pieces and more. I mean, this kit just offers just so much, and just the clarity is just amazing. Just amazing. I mean, my printers aren't even that great, and these are so cool. I love this. These two, I think, are my favorite. Those two are my favorite. We're going to end up using that today. So I'm going to put that aside so I don't have to go digging for it again. More postcards, bigger envelopes, more pockets, file folders even. And then you've got 3 I need 3 pages. 1, 2, 3 pages of small quotes and words. More pockets. More envelopes. More file folders. Tags. And a big envelope. So that's just the ephemera. I mean, wow. Huge kit. Amazing kit. So you cannot go wrong with this kit. I do believe there's probably about, if I had to guess, probably 15 or 20 background pages as well that I didn't print yet. So, because we're not using those today. So I didn't print them. But we are going to be using some of the ephemera pieces. Just to show you, you don't, especially digitals, you don't have to print out a background page. You can print out the smaller stuff to collage and layer and stuff with as well. So we are going to make a cute little, I think, floating pocket is what I'm going to go for. So I have a piece of 90-pound watercolor paper, which is going to be my base. I have decided. I am going to see if this works. I don't really have anything bronze, and I'm supposed to do bronze. So I do have this gold. I just picked this up at Michael's about a week or so ago. And actually that's not too bad on there. And so I'm just going to kind of do my edges because we're going to end up covering this watercolor paper. I just wanted something a little stiffer to add on my layers and my pockets. We're going to layer up some stuff. But I also wanted to see if this would make it kind of bronzy. If I did gold and maybe a little bit of brown, or maybe brown than gold. That's actually not too bad. I don't know if that's picking up on camera, but it's looking pretty bronzy in person. So now we've got my edges done. So I don't have to worry about my edges anymore. So let's move those aside. I also picked up a paint pen, thinking, you know, maybe if I go over it with some gold and then some brown, it might make some bronze. So now, let's see. My biggest decision right now is to use either this lighter paper that I have here that is, this is actually old. This paper is actually really old. It was covering an old book. Or if I want to go darker. I think I'm going to go darker with the purples. So we're going to cut up this glassine bag. Cut up, rip up, whatever you prefer. Me, I'm not picky, as long as it covers. And I'm not too worried if it doesn't cover down here because we're going to make a pocket. So the biggest thing is getting it on here. So bring it down. Oh, I'm going to bring it right down to that line so I know right where I need to cut it. All right. So I don't know if you need to know anything about glue, but I use 3-in-1 glue. It seems to be tried and true. I've been using it since I started junk journaling, which is probably about almost 7 years ago now. So we're just going to put down our base. I kind of willy-nilly do it in the middle, and then I make sure I go around the edges because we want to make sure that it sticks to the corners. It doesn't come up. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. And if you're really, really worried about that little corner, you can always take a piece and add to it. But you need to be careful because if you add to it, make sure it's completely adhered down, because when you're putting stuff in the pocket, you don't want it to catch on this. So a lot of times what I'll do, and I don't think I have any right next to me right now, is sometimes I'll take some masking tape and I'll go over that. So that's another, if your pockets, you're putting your stuff in your pockets and it keeps sticking, piece of tape does the trick. Okay. So let's go ahead and, I don't know, I'm going to try to rip and see if this will rip. I don't know, glassine can be a little tricky sometimes with ripping. That did all right. Okay. Ooh, there's something under there. It's under there. There we go. A little piece of paper or something. Oh, a bow. A bow. Okay, let's go ahead and rip this little piece off. And of course we want to rip that little piece off, and we want to rip that off. And this I might leave. I might just see about kind of rolling it. I'm not sure yet. And it's not quite stuck all the way down. So this is the thing about glassine, right? I'm hoping this 3-in-1 glue works for glassine. Sometimes you have to use Aleene's tacky glue. But I think once it's dry, it should be okay. So we just won't try roughing that up or curling it or anything until it's kind of completely dry. I am going to go over this one little edge right here. And right there where it's showing some white. And I think I'm just going to go over this whole thing with some gold again. There we go. Get that also on the brown paper. Little gold, so put some brown over it to help tone that down and make it look a little bit more hopefully bronzy than gold. Not too bad. Okay. There we go. We're done. Just kidding. Alright, so now we've got our backing paper. We have got our base. Now we can start building. And for building, I want to do some layering. So I want to pick out, I want those, where'd the strips go? I want to use, they were more down the bottom here. Maybe one of the little strips. And because we're layering, we don't have to use a full piece of paper. Pull these out because these are going to be used. And this one. Okay. Set these aside for a moment. I also have a piece of coffee dye paper in case we need it. Okay, let's set those aside for right now. And decide what I want to do for layering here. I think I really like this. Not a lot of it's going to show. Really, all it's going to probably end up showing is a little piece of it. But that's why you don't need to print a whole background page if you're just going to use a little strip of something. Especially since you're going to be layering. Get this guy cut out. I swear I'm going to ask for a scan and cut for Christmas. I'm so sick and tired of cutting. I want it to be done for me. Okay, so, okay, I didn't pay any attention when I was cutting or cutting my base to see if they were even the right width to the stuff I wanted to do. But that's me. If you are a very precise person, then you're going to want to, of course, measure and stuff like that. Okay, so I am going to definitely use this piece. I'm really loving it. So, okay, let's rough it up a little. because that's me. I'm very, very, very grungy, use ink, rough it up. I'm all about it. All about it. Okay, so that's going to end up going there. But before we put it there, we're going to, of course, give a little ink on the pieces that are going to show. Because, of course, that's part of steampunk. Metal, old metal. So we're going to put that right up there. And then we're going to give it another layer of some sort of maybe brown paper. Get that up there. I want to roll this just a tad, not too much. I just want to give it to where it looks like it's been around for a little while. Which means I'll probably need to use a little more ink up there. Let's get, sorry, should have inked the back. But that's okay. This will just help rough it up some more. There we go. Alrighty. There we go. There's the first layer. Woohoo! Now the next layer. I probably should have printed one background page, but I am going to make this work without it. We need something a little bit bigger. Oh boy. I should have printed one background page. That's alright, we're going to make this work. We're going to find something. We're going to find something in here that works. I just need it to be big enough. This is definitely big enough, so we're just going to cut out where we want it. But before I do that, I do need to make another small layer here before I make a big background layer. So, what do I want for that? I'm thinking maybe I'll go ahead and whether that I could do a piece of ledger, or I could do, I think I'm going to do coffee paper because we have so much going on with the digitals that I don't need to add that to it. So now let's just make sure we get the right size going here. So I'm going to take off that piece, and then I'm just going to take a small piece off here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to kind of play with that a little bit. Let's give it some metally looking ink. If you don't have an ink pad like this, you can get metallic paint. It'll take a little longer to dry, but it would definitely give you a great look to use metallic paint. Okay, and let's go over it a little bit with this. There we go. Bring this back over here, and I'm going to give another layer. I want to make sure some of this is poking out. That's why I chose this paper. So there we go. Now we're going to throw this on there. Oh, yes. Hello, we're looking cute already. There we go. I love the roughness of it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead. I'm not worried about these edges that would be to make the envelope, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim those off just so I can get a better feel for what I want here. We don't need those pieces either. And now I just want to decide, do I want something like this showing? Or do I want something more like the map? The map might be kind of cool. Let's go for the map. I'm going to take it off about right there. So again, I can do my same little folding thing here. Now this paper is a lot whiter, so I need to decide where I like it. I like the legend showing here, so I'm going to end up taking this off here. Easiest way to do it, fold it over, give it a little tear. Now this side is, you know, because we cut the side, it's a little too straight. So, you know, you could just take your scissors, rough it up a little bit so it looks like you tore it. Now, if you have one of those tearing rulers, you know, you can always, definitely always use that. Okay. So then we're going to have, actually, I've got it a little too wide. Okay. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about the overhang because I can just roll it. Actually, this doesn't matter. I can cut this. This isn't going to show. The pocket's going to go over that, so that doesn't matter. Okay. So now we want to, of course, add our fun distressing to it. Make sure we get our gold going on there. Alrighty. And now a little bit of the brown to make it look a little bit more bronzy. Oh yeah, there we go. Definitely. Woohoo! Alright. And now we're going to take this piece and we're going to add it to our base. It's all about the base, not the base. Sorry, that song just popped into my head. I probably should have preferenced this video with I'm a huge dork. Phew. Oh, okay. And now we're going to add our third layer. Look at how easy it is to layer. Look at that. Alright. So now we got our base layer. Okay, now I am going to need a little piece of this. And you're going to probably be like, why? Why do you need another piece of that? Because we're going to make a little layer on the pocket too. Isn't that fun? Move that out of the way. And now we just need to decide. Sorry, I probably should have picked out all my papers prior to this, but they were just all so pretty I couldn't make a decision. So, let's see. What? We could use an actual pocket. Or we can use something bigger. We could use a postcard. I don't think I want to use anyone with the girls because I do want to cut her out. I love her. So, ooh. Would that be too much if we did? Is that too much color going on? I usually work with a lot more neutrals, so I don't know. Oh. Oh, we already have that map. I like that map. I don't think I want to do the train. Too purple. Look at how cool that parasol is. A shade liver. Decisions, I tell ya. All right. We're just going to have to go for one. And just go for it. Let's just go for it. Ooh, I just noticed this one. I kind of like either one of these. So we're going to go with one of those. Not sure exactly which one yet. So I'm just going to, or this is that. No. I'm going to go for one of these. Even like, oh, look at that with the clocks even. Okay, so we've got gears and bigger gears. Which ones do we want? I'm going to take away some of this white because it's really distracting me from what we got going on here. Not only that, I got to make sure this is even the right size to go across. It's too small. But that's okay. That's all right. It's okay. It's all right. No worries at all. I'm thinking I like the color of this better with it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. Cut this. I'm not going to use the tab that was on it. So we're just going to do that. And then, since this is a little too small, what I'm going to end up doing is bringing this paper back. And I'm going to go ahead and just put this on it. And then, oh, you know what, before I do that, because we all know inking afterwards can be harder than it needs to be. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of our faux bronze. Okie dokie. Well, I'll leave those there because we're going to ink this guy up afterwards. So now we're just going to add this to this paper. And don't worry, if the paper's too short, there's always a way to do it. You could add come little strips on the edge. Because look at, I even have more of this to where it would look kind of seamless. You could add lace, some sort of trimming. You can do all kinds of things. So there is never a wrong way to do this. I hear that all the time for people about, I just don't know. Oh my gosh. Da, da, da. And I'm just like, there's no wrong way. Just go for it. Just do it. Have fun. Alrighty. So there we go. And now we need to ink this part up. Since everything is the right size. Now, now that it is right size. Actually, because I printed this on copy paper, 24-pound copy paper. So actually for the pocket, it's probably better that we are backing it, just to give it some stiffness, and for taking things in and out, just make it a lot more sturdier. Okay, give it a little brown. As most of you notice, I do not use a dauber. I have been using ink that way for quite a long time. See, my daughter's 33. I started scrapbooking when she was probably about 6. So I have been doing it that way for a very long time. All right. There's our pocket so far. What do you think so far? We've got layers upon layers upon layers. And we're not even done. Not even done. Okay, we want to make sure this sticks. And let it dry. And I got this really cool ribbon at Michael's. It's in their goth stuff. They have some goth stuff right now. $9.99, but I got it for 40% off. I literally bought every single one they had. They didn't have very many, but I bought them all because I love polka dots and I love black. So we are actually going to use this on here. Cut a piece off, and we're going to somehow, my hands and brain will come together here, we're going to make some sort of little thing here. And then I have some keys. I thought maybe I could stick a key on there. Okay, here we go. Cute, 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 cute. Okay, let's give it a little, whoops, I cut it the wrong way. I told you I'm a dork. Oh well, doesn't matter. Just cut that off. Okay. It doesn't even need to be glued down. It will, if you do it tight enough, it will definitely stay. For this little guy, we're probably going to use something, I don't even know. Maybe I'll use a little strip of this or something to tie it on. But this is too big to go through there. It's technically not, but it wouldn't hang the way I wanted. So we're going to hang it that way. All right, so setting this aside for a moment, we are going to cut out our little journaling cards for our pockets. Alright, so and of course, since we have all our stuff already kind of layered, but now that I've used my paper on other things, how do we want to layer them? We want to give them some sort of backing. What did I do with the rest of that bag? Cut off the bottom. It's holding it together. Oh yeah, I think especially for her, we need the darker one. Anyways, okay. So let's put her somewhere. Nice little rip there. Oh yes. Okay. So let's put her down. Actually, I think I'll go this way. Okay. Cheryl, that's the wrong glue. That one's not even opened yet. That's why it won't come out. Oops, I forgot to ink. Oh well, we'll get it. We'll get her. We'll get her, we'll get her, we'll get her. Rip that off. Rip that off. We're gonna kind of a little too much on this side, so let's take a little bit off on that side, as well as a little bit off on this side. There we go. Much better. I did notice it didn't stick right here. Need to give a little bit more glue on that edge. There we go. And then of course we're going to ink it up. Oops, I just got glue on my ink. Not good. I did that once on one of these and it never worked right afterwards. Okay, let's look at that, and then I want to, because I'm going to possibly roll some of the edges, get a little bit of this back side. And then of course I'm going to come back after we're done with this, and I'll probably put a piece of something back here, because I don't want this Rubbermaid to show, but maybe a piece of ledger or something's for writing. So just so you know, off camera, that's what I will be doing. Because I don't think you really need to see me do that. You all know how to do that, right? Okay, so now we've got one little thing in the pocket. And then, of course, you want to do that again with something else. It could be something like this, taller, whatever you want it to be, right? It's your project, have fun. So I'm actually going to make a second journal card really fast. I just want to get it down. And then we'll move on. Where do I want it? I want it up here. Okay, let's go up here. That's good. The edge is not quite down. There we go. Alrighty. And yes, sometimes I do use the top of my ink pads as a brayer. I use whatever's handy, whatever's around. I can't ever find my bone folder, so I always use the edge of my scissors instead, which works great. Okay. This is not ripping quite. Hello. Stay in my hands. It wasn't ripping quite the way I wanted, but that's okay. We're just going to kind of play with it a little. That's it. There we go. And then, of course, that will get inked up and backed. And that's going to go in there as well, because I really like Oh, that's not even that bad. You could even do that if you wanted. I really love this image. I don't know why. I love hot air balloons. They're so cool. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, and this is totally up to you, and I don't have any stamps out right now. You could stamp it or write it, but I thought it would be cool to add a little something hanging down with a brad. And there happens to be some, I think, some bronzy looking ones in there. So it's just deciding which ones you want to use. And I think I want to kind of tie this back in. This paper that we used, the very beginning layer. Just kind of tie it back in. I think I might want it on her. Okay. So we're just gonna do a little fiddling with our cutting here, because it does have those little jagged type edges. Okay. And then of course we want to ink it up. Now, I'm not sure what I want my tag to say. I might end up doing stamps and numbers, or I might write memories or lost love or whatever I end up doing. But I just need to decide which way I want it to go. And then I also think I might add, where's that little piece of black? I might add a little something to it here. Just, do we need a little extra layer here? A little something. But I think it needs to be longer. I have this longer piece right here. Okay. It would help if my fingers worked. Okay. I think I like that. So we need to cut some of that off because it hits her face. I don't want to cover her beautiful face. There we go. And not only that, it ties in our ribbon that we were using there. Lace ribbon trim, whatever you want to call it. And now the struggle is real. I cannot get this open. Okay, so we've got a couple options here. We've got more of a bronzy or more of a darker. I think I'm going to go the darker. And since I have not added my back to it yet, I should be able to push through, or not. Come on, push, push, thank you. Push through. And when I cover my back, it will also cover the back of my brad, which will then, in turn, keep it exactly where I want it when I cover this. So, make sure that's down there. All right. So there we have that. And we're going to do the same on this, but I'm going to do it off camera. I don't think you need to see me do it twice. But you can, then you can decide too. Do you want it going across? Do you want it going down? Okay, so there's two little tags so far in there with some little embellishments. You could even, if you have a paint pen or something, you could kind of even go around these fun little gears here. Or if you have actual metal gears, maybe glue a couple on there to give it a little bit more of a 3D effect instead of something like this. So let's see, we do need to put on our key which now I have buried, but I have tons of keys sitting here. Tons of them. Maybe is that too big? That one. I really did like the key I picked. There it is. I think I like this one. So now I'm just going to find something to kind of hang it on with. Now you can add more to this if you wanted to. You could add some gears, maybe. If I knew where my gears were right now, I would probably add a few metal gears right here, as well as on here, and maybe even up in the corner or something here. So that's something you can obviously do. I also have old jewelry. This happens to be an old cufflink. Would be kind of cool to add somewhere, you know. And then too, I'm probably going to add one more small journaling card in here off camera. And when it's all done, I can, of course, attach a picture. I might print out the postcards again. I might print out these postcards. She's got a couple different ones. And actually do them just a little bit smaller to put a postcard in there. That's probably what I'll end up doing. Something similar to this one here. Something around that size. This one's actually a piece of digital paper or something that's made to look like an envelope. And then they put a stamp on it. A real stamp on it. So something similar to that is what I have. I just happen to have that sitting on my desk. So I thought I'd show you. So now let's figure out how we're going to get our little key on. Where's my ribbon? I'm just going to cut a little piece of this and use it just like a little tie. Okay, did anybody see where that flew off to? There it is. So we're just going to stick this in this hole. And I'm just going to add it around here. We want it to be more up there. And it's just kind of seamlessly look like it's attached. Okay. I'm sure I've taken enough of your guys' time today. I try to make my videos short, and this is, I think, a little longer than what I was planning. Okay. So, very basic layers. Floating, you can glue this into your journal, or you can make a floating pocket out of it and, you know, put a paper clip or something, or even maybe one of these. You can add that, of course, to the page to hold it anywhere you want, top or bottom. You can even add a little something to that if you wanted. So I hope you enjoyed the little floating pocket and our journaling cards, done very simply, and still creating layers. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy Sherls Digitals, and thank you for having me. Have a great day.